Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Thursday edition. Uh-oh, hold on. I hear feedback. All right. Is that better? How's that? All right. I think that's better. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Thankful Thursday, and I am thankful for another Thursday. Thankful for another opportunity to spend with you guys. I'm excited to be here. Welcome, Brian. Glad you're here as always. And welcome, you guys. Welcome into the audience. I look forward to your comments. Can't wait to hear what you have to share. And remember that on Thursdays, we like to spread a gratitude train all across social media. We want to start to think about and share in the comments what we're thankful for. This world is so full of just ick. You know, you turn on the news, which I rarely do. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the world that I now hear about as background conversation, or somebody will ask me and I was like, "Oh, really? I should check that out," because I'm mindful of my inputs. And there is so much negativity going on around us all the time. But we can make a different choice. We can choose to what we take in and what we don't, how much of all of that we lean into. It's the political season. So of course it's ugly and it's only gonna get uglier. So I choose. I know how I intend to vote, and my mind is made up, and the rest of it is fodder. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the slug matches and the back and forth and the crazy ads. It blows my mind when I hear people like robots just repeating everything that they hear in those little sound bites. I choose not to allow that stuff to set up my day, set up my mentality, determine how I'm feeling. Because when it's all said and done, they don't know me. They're not making decisions on my behalf. Honestly, as much as we would like for them to, we fight and we bicker and we divide as a nation. And then those folks go off and do whatever it is that they need to do to set up their empires. Could care less about the average guy in most cases, in my opinion. So I just refuse to allow the negativity of the world, be it that stuff or anything else, to determine what my life is going to be like from day to day. I've got a much better, much bigger, much better, much more important anchoring, and I rely on that. And the rest of it, I tap in and I tap out as I desire. But as soon as I feel it starting to penetrate and affect me in any way, I'm out. I don't want it, because the thing, I can only control what I can control, right? And I can control my attitude. And gratitude is one of those things that is so helpful in balancing out the crazy of the world. We talk about being energy setters, not matching the energy of those around us, but being the light that comes into any space that we're in, determining that we're going to make a place better just by our mere presence, if it's no more than a smile. And I have to remind myself of that kind of stuff on a regular basis, because God's not through with me yet. I'm still a work in progress. I saw a guy at the gym now for the second time. I feel like every time we're near him, he just gives me and Tim the meanest looks. Even the very first time we walked in, I don't know, he may be listening to something on the in his ear that he's responding to. But it always seemed, and this morning, as soon as we got on the machine, he got off and then he was just kind of shaking his head and walking away. In that moment, I wanted to make it personal. Oh, he didn't want to be near us. Oh, as soon as we get near, this story started to play in my head immediately. And I could feel my face matching that story. I could feel my energy matching that story. And now I've created an adversary that doesn't know me from a can of paint. In my mind, though, for whatever reason, we're adversarial. There's something about us that turns him off and he has to get away. That man may have been working out for an hour and his hour happened to be up. And he's listening to whatever he's listening to, and he's reacting to that, and he's walking out. Paying no, everybody has their headphones on, right? And they're listening to their music or whatever they're getting their workout on. But in that moment, I created an entire scenario that has no validity. We do it all the time. I literally felt adversarial towards this guy in an instant because of a look and a quick response. And then I get to lean back into my gratitude and go, you are an adult. You know better than this. You wanted to give this guy, you wanted to match his energy. You wanted to give him an ugly look, even though he may not have even been looking at you. He may have been looking through you because you were in his pathway, but not actually at you, the person. So I'm grateful that I can have these conversations in my head and that I can share them with you guys, and we can use them as examples of how we can find little shadow spots, and we can have conversations with ourselves, and we can make the necessary adjustments. Because immediately as I was having those thoughts, I was remembering a few years ago, my husband and I were flipping a house, more him than me. And so we bought this property not less than an hour from our house, and we were working with, the contractors to refurb the place so that we could sell it. Well, the guy next door, right across the street, had all this stuff in his yard that said something like, be careful in my yard. My bullet can outrun you, and just different things like that that completely turned me off from the very beginning. That was a yard I never intended to step in. That was an individual I never intended to have any interactions with, because just what he projected in the outside of his home triggered things in me. It reminded me of where some of the things that I were fearful of growing up, and some of the types of people that I encountered that created additional fears and blocks in me and things like that. So it wasn't so much just what those signs said, but it actually took me back to a place where I didn't feel safe. And those emotions came to the surface immediately as soon as I read the signs and saw the symbols. My all of my spidey senses went up, and they said, do not enter, do not engage, keep your distance, stay safe. And that was the automatic response. Nothing really wrong with it, but my husband, on the other hand, who never meets a stranger, he is the ultimate don't judge a book by its cover. Before you know it, he and the guy are just chatting it up, and they became somewhat of friends. And when we were out of town, the guy would actually keep an eye on the property, and he would text my husband and say, hey, those contractors are just hanging out. They're outside, they're eating, they're not really working. So you guys may want to come and light a fire under them, because at this rate, they're going to charge you guys forever, because they're not hustling. Things that he never would have done with me, because we never would have had the initial conversation. Now he's taken a vested interest in our property and how things are going, and he's talking to my husband on a regular basis. And when they met, they acknowledged their differences politically and in many other ways. And they both said to the other, that conversation went something along the lines of, I'm not going to try to convince you to think the way I think. You don't try to convince me to think the way you think. We respect each other's point of views, and we move forward. And I went, wow, what a microcosm of what life could be if we had that level of respect for each other, right? But for me, immediately I had these trigger moments of fear and being discomfort and things like that. So that moment would never have happened between me and this guy. And he became someone who, again, had a vested interest in our well-being and what was going on with that property. And so it just reminded me of, those trigger emotions come from somewhere. They speak more to you and what your experiences have been than necessarily the individual on the other end of them. So when you lean into them and you listen and you learn, you can kind of learn some other things about you and maybe places where you need to work and what's going on in the shadows. And then there's things around us all the time, opportunities where we see people who we would think would never be together, laughing and having a good time and being respectful. And I see that all the time with Tim. And I'm a lover of people. I really am. But I also have this real big need to be feel safe button, because there was a period in my life when I was younger, when I wasn't in control, that I didn't feel safe, and it has left some scars, and those scars get triggered every once in a while. But because I know that they're there, and because I can talk to myself and reason and realize that it's coming from the inside more than whatever is happening externally, I can make good decisions, right? And for that, I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful for even the look that I saw this morning, whether it was intended for me or not. It gives me the opportunity to do some soul searching and to think about myself and to really think about how I wanted to respond. I wasn't so proud of that. I wasn't so proud because in that moment, I didn't want to set the energy. I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to, try to extend the olive branch, because I really saw an adversary, a place. He reminded me of people that I was not safe around before. But that's not fair to him. He never has done anything to me, doesn't know me at all, has passed me twice in life and probably never saw me either time. I saw him because I'm a little hypersensitive to him, because again, he's triggering me. He's reminding me of a place and of a time when I wasn't safe, right? He doesn't have that connection. So it's just I was just really grateful that in that moment, the reminder of my husband's experience with the guy across the street came up at the same time, and I had those two thoughts and those two experiences just kind of juxtaposed next to each other, playing almost simultaneously, going, it's almost like having that little devil and that little angel on your shoulder, those cartoons and stuff that used to play back in the day. You can lean one way or you can lean the other. In the middle, it's you and your decision which way you go, how you flow, what you bring into that situation. I brought fear. And when we're fearful, our senses are heightened. Our imagination runs wild. And if we're not careful, we become very reactionary to an experience that's not even happening, right? My fear was from my history, not really from my present. I could probably take that old man down if I had to, but that's not what I was thinking. I was, for a moment, that little girl, fearful, afraid about what might happen. Was she going to be safe? Was she going to get home okay? Was something bad about to happen to her? All those emotions came rushing back in. But we can be grateful that in those moments, we can take a step back. We can realize what's really happening. We can have a conversation with ourselves. We have those tools, guys. We've been working on it for about a year now. We've been having these conversations. I just want you to know that even with all the work, I don't get it right all the time. I just want to remind you of that. I mess up every day, multiple times a day, because I'm just as human as the next person, right? But when we realize that we've messed up, it's a great opportunity to learn something about ourselves, to figure out what's the next level that we're trying to aspire to. Where is there some healing or some cleaning up that needs to be done so that we keep moving forward, and that moving forward gets lighter. The burden's not as heavy because you're not dragging as much baggage. I have not completely unpacked all of that luggage. It's obvious. It was obvious to me today. I haven't unpacked it all. But if you put it over in the corner and it's out of sight and you don't realize that it's there, the unpacking is not going to happen. The healing is not going to happen. The growth won't happen. So be grateful in those moments. Lean into gratitude in those moments where you see less than your ideal self, because that points you to another opportunity for growth, for development, for evolution, for transformation, for that elevation from where you are to that next step, because that elevation is waiting for you there. It's there. Whatever is for you is for you. It's literally waiting on you to get there, right? Have you ever traveled home and you're all excited? You haven't been home in a while and you're waiting to get there. You know the warm hugs are coming. You know the I love yous are coming. There may be a meal, your favorite meal prepared for you. Your whole life, there's those moments that are waiting for you, but that you have to take the journey, right? You have to realize where you are, and then be willing to do the work to elevate to that next place so that you receive what's in it for you at the end of that trip. Those hugs, that meal, those conversations, the people that you've been waiting for. That those stages exist for all of us, and they'll continue to exist as long as we're here. There's always some place to aspire to, something, some growth that can happen. And I'm really grateful for that moment. In the moment, it did not feel good. I felt a little, threatened in a way. And my body and my emotions and my everything, everything was responding from that perceived threat that did not exist in the real world. Because even if everything about me completely disgusted the guy, the only thing he did was leave. I'm still not threatened, right? But I've created this scenario in my head based on what I felt in that moment. And he has absolutely no control, no idea, nothing to do with how I felt. It's internal. The voice within wins. So when that voice speaks to you, you need to listen. What is it telling me? Is it telling me that all is well? Is it telling me that I've got some work to do? Is it telling me do not enter? This is not a safe place. Whatever it's telling you, pay attention. You have it for a reason, but it's not all warning signs in terms of the external. Sometimes it's alerting you to some work that's for you to do. That was my experience this morning. I'm like, this guy could care less about my comfort, my discomfort, my comings, my goings. I'm not even on his radar. But I've had a virtual experience with him that I've created in my head that he has no idea about. And I think we do that quite a bit. We do it. We experience things, we experience people, and then we formulate our story around that experience. Whether it's factual or not, it becomes real to us because we've played it out in our minds. And our minds don't know any better than to believe us. It doesn't know any better than to believe what we tell it, right? So be careful about what you're telling it. Be careful and be grateful when those moments come, when you have those discoveries, because you're going to be better for it. I could beat myself up. The old me would have been really uncomfortable even having the show today. It's like, man, how am I going to sit up and talk to people about gratitude and positivity and mindset when I just had this little internal meltdown? Of course I can, because I'm human and I can't expect perfection. But what I can do is have a conversation about the imperfections in hopes that we all get something from it. I've literally completely flipped my thinking on its head when it comes to stuff like that. I can remember early on, I got into a big old argument with my sister, and it was ugly. We were so mad at each other. And I did not want to push go live. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel deserving of having conversations with you guys because I felt like, how can I? Who am I when I've just behaved so badly? Right? Those types of questions crop up in our heads all the time. They're self-limiting beliefs, they're tricks, they are things that are designed to keep us from coming into the fullness of who we were designed to be. So I don't give over to that gunk anymore. I can hear it, I can address it, I can speak life over myself. If I've created a mess, I go clean it up, I can apologize, and we move forward. So we always have more to be grateful for than not. So on this Thankful Thursday, as you guys are coming in and dropping your comments, don't forget, wherever you are, whatever platform you're joining in from, right there, drop your gratitude. What are you thankful for in this moment? What are you thankful for in life, for life in general? And I'm going to try to remember. I created some prompts last night, so I'm going to try to remember to share those before the day is up. They're just prompts that you can use as you journal to help you with gratitude, because they kind of go through the different areas of life, work, relationships, all kinds of things that, and there's two or three prompts in each of those areas to help you, lean in farther into gratitude and just, get beyond the basics, because we really do have a lot to be thankful for. I mean, we're joining and having a conversation with each other from all over the world with just a little device. That's things that people before us couldn't have even imagined a generation or two ago. Couldn't even imagine moments like this. We have a lot to be grateful for, despite the things that are going on externally, right? We just have to remember to lean in to gratitude and focus on the gifting in all of our situations. All right, we've had quite a few comments come in, so let me say hello, Adinga. Welcome back. Said happy Thursday. My daughter has lived to see her 16th birthday, which I celebrated yesterday. Yesterday was also my daughter's birthday, Adinga. She turned 33. So happy birthday to both of our belated birthday to both of our beautiful daughters. Hey, Michael, always good to see you. Conchita, we have missed your presence. Welcome back. She says, greetings, everyone, on this Thankful Thursday. It's going to be an exceptionally amazing day, and it shall be. And she said, hey, Kim Jules. Kim says, thankful for this day and all of you. So there's our first gratitude message. She said, hey, Conchita, my dear, glad to see you on the same platform I'm using too, so we can message. Oh, goodness. And then she said the tools really work if you immediately apply them to the situation. That's Conchita. The actionable steps each day have really been beneficial. I am so glad to hear that, because I am a student. I'm a student all the time. And those things I really do put into play. And they help me to grow. They help me to develop. They help me to bounce back when I have those tough moments also. So yeah, use those actionable steps. Even if it's just one that you're going to do for a while, it will help you to continue to move forward, and you can always, stack. I've got this one down. Now I'm going to look back and grab something else so I can continue to move forward. Conchita said, I like that you said perceived, because that is often what we do when we aren't in a position to confront matters head on. Our minds just get to rambling. Guilty as charged, LOL. Exactly. It was a perceived threat. It was a perceived situation. Don't even know if I was really saying, but that triggered a whole soliloquy in my head. And I can laugh about it now, but in that moment, my body wanted to react. I wanted to react to what I was thinking, not to what was really happening. So we have to be careful and give ourselves that space to really process and make good decisions. Conchita also says we are our own worst critics, but in those moments we have to remember our value and our purpose. Absolutely, absolutely. And she said, yes, we do, Cassandra. Gratitude is our superpower. It is. And Michael says, happy belated birthday to her. So we're going to take that for both of our daughters and Dingo. Thank you, Michael. All right. I think I got all of the comments. Let me share our quote for today. I do have a hard stop. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. So we will be wrapping up shortly. Oh, no. That is the quote from yesterday. Let me see. So I won't be able to share. I guess I forgot to do my updates last night. Shame on me. Hey Brian, I sent the quote to you though. Can you let me see. Can you pull it up? I want to make sure we give them the new quote of the day.
Let me look and see.
Hmm.
Let me look and see.
Okay, wait a minute. I think I've got it here. My goodness. Maybe I did. I send it to you? Maybe I didn't. Huh. Because yesterday's is the only quote I see. So I sent you the StreamYard, but I didn't send the quote. Let's see if I can find it quickly. And while I'm looking for it, Brian, let me go ahead and pitch it to you to share whatever it is that you would like to share on Thankful Thursday.
Yeah, thankful Thursday. Thankful. Gratitude, humility, all of that wrapped up in one day. Just to give you a day for it. That's something that all of these things they're not linear. All these things that we talk about, you had to mix them all in together every day, all day. That's why it's cool that it's Thankful Thursday, right? It's part of the mix every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the mix in every recipe. This is what you have to have if you want to even try to make it in this life. That's you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going to, right? The best thing you can do is focus on where you are and what you have. And for
Yeah.
that, you can be grateful.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing that we miss out on is being grateful for where we are and what we have right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying whatever your situation is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Horrible situations are happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make it through that situation, that's the attitude you have to have. Otherwise, you succumb to the dark side. And woe
Mm.
is he or she who succumbs to the dark side. It's an envelope. I talk about my buddy all the time. He's one of my older mentors. He died and he saw the dark side, right? He saw the corks going out. He saw the fragments in the light in the universe. While he was dead for 9 minutes. He wrote a book about it.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And he saw a lot in those 9 minutes. And the thing he said that stuck with me the most was the darkness, the dark spots, right? We let our light get snuffed out because we're focusing on something that is or isn't ours anyway. There's no need
Mm.
of focusing on it. You don't know. Whatever you have right now, be grateful for that. And guess what? It might not be something tangible in your hand. You may have been given a plan. Your gratitude in being given that plan should be to do that plan, to not become distracted, to not fall by the wayside when you stumble and you fall. Do you stay down? That's gratitude. Gratitude is taking the action and saying, I'm gonna do what you told me to do with what you've given me. Because you're thankful for that and not upset that you didn't have more. Not upset when the mishaps happen in a show. You can break this down on any granular level. If you're
Mhm.
one of those individuals that is just getting started in creating content and you starting with video, a huge example would be how many roles you're taking on by deciding you're going to do content. You're going to create your own videos. You become the grip, you become the writer, you become the producer, you become the director. So when you get something wrong and it doesn't go the way you expected it to, don't look at it like that's a problem. Look at it like that's an opportunity to tighten up so that you don't have to keep stressing yourself out. So you just
Learning.
You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
you don't have to feel overwhelmed by the tasks you have been assigned to do. Because if you really feel like that, then you're going to keep doing it. If you don't, then stop doing it. Take that word, take that stress off yourself. Either way, be thankful for what you have. If you have the ability, the foresight to do that, that's something to be thankful for. Don't get discouraged. Don't let that be the end of it. Keep going. You see that for a reason. Our thoughts are not our own. Our brains are sending and receiving stations. Be thankful for being able to receive those thoughts. Be thankful for being able to put them in play. Be thankful for the mishaps and the missteps along the way. You have got to be grateful if you want to win in this life. It all starts with gratitude. It changes your perspective. It changes the way you look at everything. I went on a rant.
You know, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's a mindset. It's a way of determining for yourself how you're going to show up in the world. It does not mean pretending that life is a lifing. It doesn't mean stuffing stuff down. It's just the opposite, right? We have to pick it up. We have to look at it from all sides. We have to determine in our minds, often before this experience ever comes, how we're going to react to it, how we're going to respond and keep moving forward. That's why we talk about these things every day. So when they do show up, you have something to fall back on. You go, we talked about this. I've been working on this. I know who I am. Does what I'm about to do match my identity? We talked about it. Who do I say I am? Right? Who do I say I am? Am I aligning my actions and the way I show up in the world with who I say I am? When we're out of alignment, everything goes. That's what's happening with my back. I've been out of alignment and just getting those adjustments and doing the work to keep them, because just doing some cracking and popping a couple times a week isn't going to do it. I have to strengthen those muscles. I have to ergonomically change my chair, lift my laptop so that I'm not looking down. There's things that I have to do differently. If you want something different, you have to do something different. If nothing changes, nothing will change. So you purpose in your mind who you are, what you desire, and what you're willing to do and not do to get it. Now you've brought in your values, you've brought in your non negotiables, you have a real clear picture of who you are outside of all the lifing. Know thyself. Get real clear and grateful for the life that you've been afforded, gifted, and then determine for yourself how you're going to show up, how you're going to manage, how you're going to live that life. And then once you have that clarity, you have identified yourself. Who am I? And everything that you do either lines up with that identity or it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you feel it. You get uncomfortable. Things feel out of whack. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Why am I so off? You're living out of alignment because you've already declared who you are. So now you've got to bring those thoughts, those actions, those interactions, everything into alignment with that identity, right? How we think about ourselves, who we say we are, that voice within, it's always going to win. Our actions are going to align with that. Our inactions are often because of that. That voice is telling us something. Tap into it. Be real clear about that messaging and clean it up wherever it is you need to clean. Let's see, we have a couple of more comments that came in. Conchita says, setting my daily intentions by commanding each day was a major game changer in my life. Marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, thankful Thursday, fabulous Friday, sensational Saturday, soul satisfying Sunday. No matter what, mindset is everything. So she's already declared what each day is. So you don't wake up on Mondays going, it's another week. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. It's marvelous Monday, right? So if Monday is marvelous, you have nothing to fret. You get up, you get your day going, you do your morning routine, you get into it. Life will life, but because of the mindset that you're in, you're much more able to manage the things that come up. You don't get overwhelmed because you're too busy looking at for solutions and moving past whatever it is that's going on. You're not allowing it to weigh you down. We have that level of control. We really, really do. We have that as a choice. We just have to remember that and lean into the choice. Conchita also says every experience is a lesson and a blessing. Sometimes we have to go back to the source and allow God to reorder our steps. Reorder our steps, reorder our thinking, reorder. Absolutely. I love that. Because sometimes we just get all stuck in a rut and we're just going around in circles. Can't seem to get off the merry-go-round, right? Sometimes we just have to stop, choose to get off the ride, get quiet, get still, and allow God to talk to you and to show you and to guide you to reorder those steps, to heal your thinking, to heal your feelings, so that you can move forward much lighter, much brighter, and ready to make a difference in the world. Kim says Conchita is back in full effect. Love you guys. Isn't she though? And it's great to have her back. Nelva says, good morning, sis. I tried to call you back. I was going to show you the garden all lit up. So we'll try again tonight. All right. So I did manage to overcome my faux pas. And as Brian was talking, I did type the quote for today for you guys, but I have not. I think the actionable steps and everything else is all from yesterday. I just forgot to do this part. Busy bee, trying to get too many things done in one day. So yeah, and that's why I told y'all it's time for a reset for me as well. So my self-care time and my reconnection time is starting on Monday. And as much as it was sort of a hard decision to make, but at the same time I felt it so strongly that I just had to lean in and be obedient and give my yes. So just as a reminder, tomorrow will be the last live of the morning show for about a month. I'm going on a 3 week sabbatical. It's virtual. I'm not actually traveling. But every morning at 7 a.m., I'll be a part of a women's prayer and spiritual growth initiative called POUR, POUR. So I'm going to be poured into and have my cup refilled and replenished and make sure that my connection is strong and just come back a better, more energized, more inspired, more spiritually clear version of myself. And I've been thinking about it quite a bit because that's a long time to be gone. So what I will do every day at this time, Monday through Friday, I'll throw Mondays in as well, is I'll have a mindful or mindset moment for everybody. So I will do videos and I'll share a thought and probably a couple of actionable steps to keep you guys connected and giving those messages that you're accustomed to getting in the morning. But it'll be a pre-recorded video that I'll schedule to pop up every morning around 7:15 while I get reconnected over the next 3 weeks. So I'm actually getting really excited about it. It starts on Monday. So y'all wish me well. I'm not abandoning you. I'm just gonna go and have some self-care and take care of my spiritual well-being, and then we'll be back and figure it out the beginning of September. But I do have a quote to share with you guys. Gratitude is a powerful process for shifting your energy and bringing more of what you want into your life. Be grateful of what you already have, and you will attract more good things. Rhonda Burns. Now that really summarizes what you said, Brian. So it was interesting as I was typing and you were talking, they were coinciding so much. But that's God. The alignment, when it's there, it's there. So gratitude is a powerful process for shifting your energy and bringing more of what you want into your life. Be grateful for what you already have, and you will attract more good things. So, hopefully, that really resonates with you. One of the things that I remember early on when I met Ryan, I think it was a Transformation Tuesday that he came into, but he always reminded me of a story I would tell about, wanting to purchase a car and wanting to get one that was, nice and fancy and different from the other cars on the road. You didn't see much of it. So you spent your time researching, and you found this shiny red car that you just had to have. And the thing that you liked about it the most was it seemed like no one had it. So you were going to go and get that car. But before you could get even off the parking lot, once you bought it, you saw it. And as you're driving home, you're seeing that car more and more and more. And it seems like it after you bought it, it just cropped up everywhere. Well, it feels like that because now that you've gone through the process, you've purchased this car is in the forefront of your mind. It is in your consciousness, right? Not in your subconsciousness hanging out in the back, but it's front and center. So now when it passes you by, you really, really notice it. So think about if you take that same concept of how our brain works and apply it to gratitude, and you decide to focus on the things that you're grateful for, right? Every day, I start my day with at least three things that I'm grateful for, and I end my day the same way. Because I'm focused on the things that I'm grateful for, those are the things that my mind's eye are trained to see, right? If I'm focused on the things I don't have, the lack, the things that I wished I had more of, the things that didn't go right, if that's my focus, that's what I'm going to see. My reality is changing just based on what I'm focusing on. So that's the magic in gratitude. It trains your mind's eye to see the gifts, to see the gifting in you and in your life and in the circumstances around you. Yes, life keeps happening. Things don't always work out the way we would like them to, but we can still see how, even in that moment, there's something for us, that it's going to work out for our good. We can see, maybe you've lost someone and you're really struggling, but you also see who really loves you and who's in your corner and who's supporting you, right? There's a positive with every negative. We just have to decide for ourselves where our focus will be. And gratitude helps you get that focus on autopilot. It really does. If you, my brain is trained. Sometimes I wake up and I don't think I'm thinking about what I'm grateful for. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get my day started. I'm waking up. I'm becoming conscious of the world around me and where I am. And it feels like those gratitude thoughts just automatically come now. What have we been talking about all week? Habits and routines, right? I made it a habit of doing that for so long that it's now naturally a part of my morning routine, right? So building that gratitude in will shift your thinking, will shift what you see in the world. And before your circumstances change, how you see those circumstances, how you're able to manage them, what they mean for you, that all can change before anything else does. And as that changes, your mind becomes more clear. Your energy level improves. You're able to be more outcome focused instead of stuck in the moment. So you can see yourself overcoming those things. The creativity comes. And before you know it, you've worked through an issue that you never thought you would get past. It's in your rearview mirror, right? You're in a different mindset because you're not bogged down by the situation. So gratitude is extremely powerful. So it's the end of my time. I need to jump on my call, but I do want to recognize the last 5 comments that have come in, and I will on each of the socials. I will drop those gratitude prompts and the actionable steps. I usually type up the actionable steps for the community, but since I didn't have them typed up today, I'll drop them for everyone. So those will be coming before the day is up as well, because I am at the top of the hour and I've got to move on to something else. Conchita says, today I wish to publicly acknowledge that Cassandra and Kim would not allow me to have a pity party this week. I love you all for it. No, ma'am, you are Miss Positivity. You can take a break, you can give yourself time to recover, but within that we are here and we are plugged in, and your presence is missed. And when you are not able to pour into yourself, that's what we're here for. That's community. That is absolute community. Kim says, you are practicing what you preach. How could we be upset with that? You deserve it. Oh, you're talking about my sabbatical. I'm excited about it. The more I say it, the more I get excited. I thought it was going to be a little bit dreadful because it's breaking my morning routine and the time that I spend with you guys. Kim says, now is a good time for anyone who has not purchased your book to do so. Spend the next month using the practices you have instilled in us, along with your book and workbook, to set in place and see the results. That is a great idea. I hadn't even thought of that. But y'all, if you guys have not gotten SOAR, it's available on Amazon. It is SOAR Beyond Limits, Unleashing the Power Within. And it takes everything that we've been talking about, builds it. It's built out into a framework with all kinds of actionable steps. And it has an accompanying workbook that you can also get to capture all of the exercises and do that work. And at the end of it, you have your plan. You're very clear about who you are. You're very clear about what it is that you want to accomplish, and you have a documented plan in place to go and get it. So, Kim, I love you for that. That is an excellent idea. She says, can you put the link again here for your book, please? Love you. And Conchita says, I'm excited for you, Cassandra. Yes, I will. Let me see. My picture is going to go away for a minute, because I'm veering away from the screen that I'm looking at, opening another tab. But let me quickly get the link for SOAR, and then we will wrap up today's session, and we will be back here tomorrow, guys, at 5. We will be back here at 7:15 a.m. Central. I really hope you guys are able to be with me and to bring someone with you as we prepare for the last Cassandra Terry morning show for a little bit. You will get the daily drop from me, I promise. I'm still going to have something to share with you guys every day, but I won't physically be live until September while I go have my spiritual cup filled. All right, so here's the link for the book. And then I'm also going to grab the workbook so you guys will not see me again for a moment. I still don't have my, I'm working from my iPad, and it operates just a little bit differently than a laptop. So I'm not sure, whenever I veer into another tab, it just goes away my video goes away for a minute. But I'm still here. I am still here. And here is the link to the workbook also. Did it take? Yeah. So hopefully those came through and you guys can grab them. If you have any questions or had trouble getting it, I know those of you who are watching from LinkedIn, LinkedIn doesn't allow for me to share comments from StreamYard, which is where I'm coming to you all from. Allows me to be on multiple platforms at once. So I'll have to go back and do the links. Or Kim, maybe you could do that for me if you have time. I'm not sure. One of you guys, if y'all could drop the links on LinkedIn, that would be fabulous. If I don't see them there, that just means you didn't have time, and that's A-okay. I will do it later on today when I get a break. But that's it for today, guys. I will get the actionable steps and I will get the those prompts posted to the different socials before today is up, and then we will wrap up this season of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show while I take my sabbatical after tomorrow, and then we'll be back in September. But please join us back tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Central, for Focus Friday. We will talk about the power and the importance of focus in of achieving the life